It's the middle of October already. I can't believe where 2016 is gone. I don't understand. It's going to be 2017 in what seems like a matter of days. And in a month, we're going to have a new elected president. What? Like, man, it seems like that just got started, didn't it? But the important thing is to vote. So make sure you are registered to vote. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you show up. Make sure you get a group of your friends in your car to the polls and make sure you vote. And we'll see what we have to say at this time next month. We've got a lot of fun things coming up, a lot of fun Halloween things coming up in the next couple weeks. But October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I did want to bring that up, and I wanted to do a show about it. And to get the word out there, you also have to vote, get ready to vote, and you also have to get your mammogram this month. So make sure you're ready for that, all right? Okay. So I invited someone from the Komen Foundation of Maryland here to talk to us about breast cancer, about a lot of things that they have going on, about the evolution of breast cancer awareness and healing. And I'm really excited to talk to her. Her name is Kim. She is here, and I am excited, as I said, over and over. That's how excited I am. So I'm going to go sit down, and we're going to try this new intro and see if that works. And if not, it's going to be a new one next week, all right? So let's go talk to Kim. Hi, Kim. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, Richard.
Kim is from the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, the Maryland division. What do you do there?
I'm the Communications and Marketing Director.
So what does that mean? You
Well,
come hang out and talk to me.
I come hang out and talk to you. Just really responsible for telling the stories for the affiliate, you know, to communicate Komens Mission and to the masses, and for everything from breast health information to information about our events through all channels, social media, the traditional press, the untraditional press, the email, all kinds of communication.
How long have you been working with them?
6 years.
How has stuff like social media and that aspect of your job changed in that 6 years?
It's changed tremendously. In fact, when I first started at Komen, we were still transitioning from paper registrations to online registrations, and now for our events, it's almost exclusively online registrations. I mean, everything's changed, and we are communicating so much more through social media, and we're always searching for the best way to communicate with our supporters. You know, everything's moved from traditional mail, then to email, and now it's moving even more to social media and text messaging, and even the different kinds of social media are changing. You know, we really need to get on Snapchat, because apparently that's the cool thing to do. So, you know, just when you get comfortable with a certain social media platform, it changes. So
I hope you have a group of, it's not just you that has to do the Snapchat and the Twitter and then come talk to me, and then you have to have a group, right?
No, it's pretty much just me.
Really?
At the, when you work for a nonprofit, you know, your staffs are small, and because you have to really devote a lot of your you have to keep your overhead low. You have to devote most of the money that you bring in to the mission, and so we try to keep our staff lean. So, yeah, it's just me.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm busy.
I hope I can help a little bit then by relieving a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a story of how you got into working with them, or like what brought you, or what your desire was to work with them?
Sure. Well, it's interesting. My mother passed away when I was 24 of ovarian cancer, and she was 44, so she was very young. And so that was in the late 80s. But in the 90s, you know, Susan G. Komen really started the whole 5K model, and especially just in general, but really for women's health. There wasn't really anything else, and I wanted to do something where I felt like I was honoring my mother, and there just wasn't anything else. And there was the Susan G. Komen race, and really breast cancer and ovarian cancer share a genetic component. And so I felt like I could do that event, even though my mother didn't pass away from breast cancer, and still honor her in some way. So on my back sign during the race, where you put in memory of or in honor of, I always put a memory of my mother, even though she didn't pass away from breast cancer. So when I was working in nonprofits, and when I saw an opportunity come up at Susan G. Komen, Maryland, I jumped at it because I had admired the organization for a long time and their good work, and whenever I work for something, when I work somewhere, I need to feel passionate about it. I need to feel that and I've always worked in nonprofits that I felt strong about. So I was thrilled to come on board with Komen.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's nice to go to a job and do a job that really gives you more than just a paycheck, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's so rewarding to go to work every day and know that, you're making a difference in some way, and you're touching people's lives through the messaging, or you're helping people get the care they need. It's very rewarding.
Do you have a story? I just thought of this. Do you have a story that just really sticks out in your head of someone you met at a race, or someone you met at a function somewhere that just moved you, that you thought, wow, I'm so glad I am where I am right now?
Oh, there's many stories like that. There are people that I've met and people that I haven't met. One that sticks out in my mind is a young woman named Bridget, and I had heard about her because she was originally from Baltimore, and she knew people in our office, but I had never met her. But she spoke at our Komen National Convention, and she found out she had breast cancer when she was graduating from college at age 21, which is very unusual to have breast cancer at that age. We can talk about this later, but the two biggest risk factors for breast cancer are being a woman and getting older. Usually the breast cancer risk goes up later in life, but certainly women have been known to get breast cancer in their, unfortunately, 20s and 30s, but it's rare. So this was extremely rare. And Bridget wrote a blog, and I used to follow her blog, and I saw the video of her speaking at Komen headquarters. And what really moved me about her was she just wanted to have the life that I have. She wanted to marry the love of her life. She wanted to do a job that she loved. She wanted to have children, and she wanted to, grow old, watching her children grow up and with the love of her life, again, doing fulfilling work. And I'm fortunate enough to have all of those things. So it just reminded me so much of why I was doing the work I was doing, and I followed Bridget's story, and unfortunately she did pass away shortly before her 30th birthday. So she moved me a lot. I never met her, but I think about her all the time. There have been people that I have met. One that comes to mind, Judy Davanzo. She passed away also this year, and she was a wonderful mother of 3 young children. She also was in her early 40s, so relatively young for breast cancer. But she started her own organization called Caring On, that helped the caregivers of people who were going through all kinds of serious illness. So it provided respite for the caregivers. And I thought that was just so amazing that she was going through this horrible disease and was worried about her husband and the people that were caring for her. So she was really an extraordinary woman, and she had one of our largest race teams, Stay Strong Judy, and her husband and daughter and son actually are still continuing the team. So she moved me, and I could go on and on, stories like that were people that have moved me and reminded me of why I do what I do.
Yeah, you could, with all your other jobs, you could also probably write a book, an amazing book. That would be great. Yeah. It is October, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is why you're here. Mm-hmm. But I want to know what happens the other months of the year. I'm assuming that October is a big month for you to get your name out there, get not recognition, but get the name out there, and for people for early detection. But what do you do the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked that, because people assume that we just don't do much.
Yeah.
We are incredibly busy all year long. We are here all year. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month is, a month that has been designated for us to talk about the disease. We get a little bit more attention during that month, but really all year long, our goal, our mission is to raise funds so that we can grant funds to local organizations that help women who are going through breast cancer for education, so we can educate people about the risks of breast cancer, as well as national research. Komen is the largest funder of research outside of the federal government for breast cancer. And then also we advocate for different public policy changes when different laws come up that may affect women's ability to get proper care. Komen is there advocating for women and men who have breast cancer. So we're very busy all year long. We have events all year long, we grant funds all year long, and we educate the public all year long.
Yeah, never a day off.
Yeah.
When I was doing my research, I saw that you have raised $889 million for global research. Not you alone, because that would be a lot.
Wish I could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Komen headquarters, and actually they just last week announced this year's national grant, so that amount has increased to $920 million. So again, largest contributor to breast cancer research outside of the federal government. What makes Komen special, and what is often confusing to the public about Susan G. Komen, is they say, well, you only give a portion of your money to research, and as if that all the rest of the money is just going, trips and chocolates and things. But no, again, we're a comprehensive organization. We give money to research, again, a tremendous amount of money to research. We give money to local breast health programs. So we give money to hospitals that do screenings. We give money to organizations like Movable Feast that make meals for women who are undergoing breast cancer. We give money to health departments locally. And then again, as I mentioned, some education component if people need breast health materials for health fair, things like that. And then the public policy. So we're one of the few organizations that has this 360 approach. There are a lot of breast cancer charities out there, and some are totally focused on research. Some are totally focused on maybe a local program, and then and some that are totally focused on advocacy. But we take the 360 approach.
Yeah, because why not? Why not do everything?
Well, that was our founder's mission. She just wanted to do everything she could to stop breast cancer. And when Komen started back in 1982, you couldn't even say the word breast on television. Mm-hmm. You couldn't. Nobody talked about breast cancer. It was in the shadows, and Komen has really brought it out of the shadows. And the race started out as not only a fundraiser, but really a way to sort of march in the streets, and say that we want to talk about this. It affects 1 in 8 women, and we need help with this. Yeah. And so now our focus is shifting because there is a lot of awareness out there. In some communities, we could still do better, but overall awareness is increasing. So we're kind of turning the corner and saying, okay, we need to move beyond awareness into impact. We need to really double down on our efforts to reduce deaths from breast cancer.
Mm-hmm. My first hearing of you was in high school when I was a big Rosie O'Donnell fan, and I don't know if you remember her show or not.
Oh, big fan.
Everybody, yeah.
Big fan.
And every October, because her mother had died from breast cancer,
right.
And she made it, because no one was talking about it, especially as a boy, nobody was obviously talking to me about it, and she made it light and fun to make it accessible. And I thought, and then when I came across that we actually have a local one, I was like, it's a weird 360 moment.
There you go.
For me, or 180 moment or whatever. I was really excited to be able to talk to you. We're going to take a break. I also want to talk to you about your local, your new partnership with Route 1 Apparel.
Yes.
I think it's cool that you're so global, and you're also able to stay super local in whatever area the Komen Foundation is in. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Kim after this. We are back with Kim from the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and my dog, who's decided to come hang out with us back here.
Super sweet.
Sometimes. So let's talk about what you also do locally.
Well, you had mentioned our partnership with Route 1 Apparel. We have a lot of local partnerships like that. If that's what you're talking about. From a fundraising perspective, we can talk a couple things about what we do locally. We have there are we hold events like the Race for the Cure. We have a bike ride called the Promise Ride. We have a luncheon coming up on November 29th for Giving Tuesday at the Four Seasons. So Komen hosts events to raise money. But then there are also local organizations like Route 1 Apparel that do events or efforts to benefit Komen, where it's a benefit. And right now, Route 1 Apparel has a really cute line of clothing and it's all kind of breast cancer themed. We're giving 15% to Susan G. Komen, Maryland. And we have also some events coming up in October. On this Sunday, on October the 2nd, there's a Bosom Buddy Brunch that WPOC holds. And again, it's their event, but they give the proceeds from the event to Komen, Maryland. And it's Lori DeYoung hosts it, and Parmalee, the country group, is going to play, and it's at Turf Valley. And there's information on our website about that. And then on October the 9th, Maryland Jockey Club is hosting something called Canter for the Cause, and you can ride your horse, if you want a horse, around Pimlico, around the Preakness racetrack. So that's really cool for people who have horses, because this is the historic Preakness track, and it's $50 to ride your horse around. And again, they give the proceeds. They're splitting the proceeds with us, and then the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, which is a horse care group. Right. So then also we have another partnership with Charm City Run, and they are hosting on Saturday. If you go to any Charm City Run store, they'll give, I believe, 10% of a certain percentage. I'm forgetting the percentage of the proceeds to Komen. So it's all great. It's great when organizations want to help us out, and that's it's great because then they, we, like I said, we have a small staff, so they do the event for their supporters, and then we benefit. Yeah, and
and they benefit too. It's such a win-win. It's so awesome. I love when small businesses or big businesses help everybody out. I think it's a great opportunity to help everybody, and I love that.
Right.
There is also on October 16th. Another Lifetime 100, I think that's a
Yeah, Lifeline 100.
Yes, I can't read my own writing.
Yeah, Lifeline 100. Thanks for mentioning that too. There is, so we did our first ever bike ride last June called the Promise Ride, and it was really successful. It was in Anne Arundel County, which we haven't really done much in Anne Arundel County, so we were happy to be down there. And we're going to do it again next June 24th. But we partnered for our event. We got a lot of help from Anne Arundel County. And they actually do their own bike event called the Lifeline 100 in October. It starts at Kinder Farm Park, and they were so generous to say, look, you can sign people up through your website, and you can keep the registration fees and any fundraising that the participants do, and then the people still come ride in our event. So I'm going to be riding that day. I'm a kind of a recreational cyclist, heavy on the word recreational. So I'll be doing the 15 mile, which is the shortest one. So my husband and I will be doing that, and so we're excited. It's a beautiful area down there. If you are a cyclist, or even they even have a 1 mile little family fun ride. They have something for everyone. So if you're at all a cyclist, it's a beautiful time to be outside. So.
And what's the website they can sign up?
On our website, komenmd.org.
Okay, perfect.
If you click on events, you'll see a lot of events that you can sign up for. Lifeline 100 is one of them.
Great. And then the big Race for the Cure on the 23rd.
Big Race for the Cure on the 23rd. It's our 24th annual Race for the Cure. It's our 10th year in Hunt Valley, so we're very excited about that. It's right across from the Hunt Valley Town Center, and it's the largest charitable 5K in the greater Baltimore area. Last year we had about 11,000 people there. So it's a great day. It's a great day for us to honor those we have lost, honor those that are living with breast cancer, and remember those we have lost. But really, it's a day to raise funds. I mean, sometimes people, I mentioned before about marching in the streets and running, and people get so wrapped up in sort of the festival and the the party of the day, they forget that it's a fundraiser. And
Yeah.
we raise 70% of our funds from this one event.
One day, wow.
So it's a really important fundraiser for us. So we encourage people to sign up and start a team. Teams are more, everything's better with companies.
Yeah.
So it's fun to start a team. I have a team every year. It's called the Kim Possibles. There's another member of our staff named Kim, and so she and I are the co-captains, and so it's and even though we're usually busy working that day, and we can't even really physically do the race because we're busy working, it's just fun to have a team. It's fun for us to get our friends together and our family together, join the team, and see how much money we can raise, and have friendly competition with other people in our office or other people we know, and who can raise the most money and things like that.
Or not so friendly competitions.
Well, there's
Because
that.
you have to win. Someone has to win.
That's right.
What's the future of the Komen Foundation? I know you were talking about the reducing the breast cancer deaths. Talk about that.
Okay.
Please.
Well, thanks. Because 2 weeks ago, Komen really made a huge announcement, and that is what they're calling their Big Bold Goal, the BBG.
Mm-hmm.
It is to reduce breast cancer deaths by 50% in the next 10 years, and that's huge.
Yeah.
It's putting a flag in the ground, drawing a line in the sand, and saying we are turning words into actions. We are, this is our moonshot, and really they have a plan to do it. And their plan to do it includes addressing 2 primary areas. One is disparities. They think that with no new science, experts have told them this, physicians and experts in breast cancer have told them that with no new science at all, we can reduce breast cancer death by 1/3 just by addressing disparities.
Wow.
Not everybody in this country has equal access to healthcare, even with the Affordable Care Act, and there are people who can't get to screenings, or maybe they can get to screenings, but they can't get follow-up to their treatment because they don't have transportation, or they can't miss work, or they don't have anybody to watch their kids, or they are scared that they can't afford the treatment. And we have to get the word out that there are resources for them, and that's what Komen does. We fund organizations in the community that help people get to their appointments and get their screening and find ways to pay for their care. And we need to we've been doing that for years, but we need to put even more focus on that in targeted communities. Baltimore has the 6th highest death rate in the breast cancer death rate in the country. So we are one of the targeted cities that will be addressed next year. There are 10 cities that have worse disparities than ours, and then will be addressed next year with some additional funding from a large grant that Komen has received from the Fund 2 Foundation. So there is, that's the first part of the reaching the Big Bold Goal. The second is addressing metastatic breast cancer, and that's breast cancer that has, it's unfortunately the most deadly form of breast cancer. It's when breast cancer has moved outside of the breast to other parts of the body. So Komen has all along been working with metastatic breast cancer, but again, we are going to laser focus on that even more, and devote more funding to metastatic breast cancer, and the hopes of reducing those deaths.
Wow, we've got a lot ahead of you. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
So exciting. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to go shut my dog up because he's barking now. And we're going to come back. I have some questions, like some frequently asked questions, and we're going to kind of run through those because there are things that I want to know.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
Thanks.
We are back with Kim from the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Kim, can you tell me what it means to be more than pink?
Thanks. Yeah, More Than Pink is a new brand change for Komen, and it goes kind of along with the Big Bold Goal. And that is to say that pink has become associated with the breast cancer movement as a whole, not just Komen. It's our signature color, and it's pink ribbons, and you see it everywhere, especially during October. But we want people to focus on just more than that. It's not enough to wear a pink sweater and say, "Oh, I'm wearing this for breast cancer awareness," or to wear pink shoelaces. You need to act. You need to donate. You need to get involved. Mm-hmm. And so we are really looking for people, organizations, doctors, survivors that are more than pink, that take their support of Komen and breast cancer to the next level. And whether you raise funds for the race, whether you're a scientist working on a cure, whether you're a local patient navigator helping patients navigate their way through the labyrinth that is breast health care, you are more than pink. And we have some new powerful PSAs, public service announcements, talking about more than pink. There's one that's just so great about this young woman named Allison. She has 2 sisters, and she lost her mother to breast cancer when she was 3. And since then, her family has raised $200,000 for the Race for the Cure. And Allison is more than pink. Wow. So that's what we're going to be talking a lot about more than pink and our everyday heroes that really act, donate, and get involved.
Super. And they can just go to your website and kind of
find out more about it. See the new powerful PSA. KomenMD.org.
Perfect. I have some like frequently asked questions that I came up with because I don't know much about it. Both of my parents have had cancer, but never breast cancer.
Sure.
So I think they're real questions that people might have that they might not know. Are there certain signs of breast cancer besides just self-exams? Are there things that maybe you can see or feel that might be a really good sign?
Yeah, Komen is big on letting people know that you need to know you're normal. It's more than just doing a monthly self-breast exam. We want people to be aware of their breasts all the time, because women's breasts change throughout the month, especially with their cycles, and you might notice things. Your breasts feel different at certain times of the month. So if something changes in your breast, whatever it is, you should let your doctor know. It can be one time a breast physician, a surgeon, had the greatest example. She said, as we get older, our nipples start pointing down. She said, if one of them starts pointing up again, time to call the doctor. So I think that's an excellent example. If you get a dimple or a pucker or a discharge or a thickening, so it's more than just lumps. If your breasts change in any way that's out of the normal for you, you should let your doctor know.
Okay. And what's is there a percentage that the possibility of you having breast cancer increases if a family member has it?
There is some genetic component to breast cancer, but it's not huge. So just because, for example, I've had BRCA testing, that's a test for a genetic test for breast and ovarian cancer, and even though my mother had ovarian cancer, I do not carry any gene mutation for that. That doesn't mean I won't get breast or ovarian cancer. It's I can't remember the statistics exactly, so I don't want to quote them, but it's very small. I believe it's less than 10%. So that even if you have the gene, that that you will get the disease. So while there is a genetic component, and certainly if you have immediate family members who have had breast cancer, a mother, a sister, an aunt, you should let your doctor know that, and that's something for you to talk to your doctor about. And perhaps if you get screened earlier, more frequently, depending on what your doctor determines if you have a higher risk factor based on again, genetic testing, relatives having it, but it's not strictly a genetic disease.
Okay. Are there ways of reducing your risk with lifestyle or food or health or?
It's interesting. There's no way to prevent breast cancer, but there are ways that we feel you can reduce your risk, and we compare it to wearing a seatbelt. So if you wear a seatbelt, it's not going to guarantee that you won't get injured or even perhaps die in a car accident, but it's going to reduce your risk of injury. So there are things you can do that are kind of like seatbelts that, again, won't guarantee that you won't get breast cancer, but that can help reduce your risk, and that's primarily leading a healthy lifestyle. You need to watch your weight, get exercise, things that you would do to prevent all cancer, really. And then there are other things you can go to the Komen website, the Komen headquarters website, Komen.org, and look at healthy lifestyle suggestions and ways to reduce your risk of breast cancer. And also, it's important to get screened. And the screening guidelines are a bit controversial. Some organizations recommend them at different ages. Komen's take is that should be a decision between you and your doctor. Because once we start saying, okay, you need to get screened starting at age 40, at age 50, or age 30, whatever it is, then the insurance companies get on board and they won't cover it unless you're that age. And Komen doesn't want to keep a woman from getting screening that she might need because she's not a certain age. So really, Komen advocates that women should be able to get screening whatever age it is, depending on what their doctor feels they need.
Right, and like you've already said, I mean, it's not going to wait until you're a certain age.
Right.
It can strike at any time.
It can strike at any time. I mean, the majority, you know, it does, again, it increase, your risk increases as you get older. But, you know, and so, but your doctor may feel that for whatever reason you need screening sooner, or that you can wait based on your, you know.
Are mammograms painful?
You know, I think they differ for other women. For every woman. I have had, I guess, 12 or 13 of them now, and they are not particularly painful for me. And I always feel like once you've had a couple kids, you know,
What's a little?
But you know, I will say for some women who have smaller breasts, it can be a little bit more painful. There's less tissue to put in the machine.
Okay.
But still, it's nothing that it takes a couple of minutes.
Right.
So it's nothing unendurable, you know. And to me, it's completely worth it. It's a couple minutes of discomfort, I would say. It's kind of a little awkward, but every place I've been to get a mammogram, the people are so nice and so considerate and take your time with you, and you know. So I encourage you to do it. It's not, there are worse tests, believe me.
Right, it's better than the alternative of not finding anything.
Exactly.
Are there certain people that are at more of a risk? Certain demographics, certain...
There are, and again, that's best described on our website, komen.org, but there are some populations that are a little bit more at risk. I think Ashkenazi Jews, I think, have a little increased risk, and then in the African American community, African Americans they do not get breast cancer at a higher rate than Caucasian women. However, they are more likely to die of it, breast cancer, and it could be because of later that they're diagnosed later, or that's part of the disparities that we want to address. They're diagnosed later, or that it's a lot of issues really. But so I would say that across the board, you know, women are at risk. So
okay, everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any studies that are underway now that or Komen is excited about? Is there anything on the cusp or anything that they're kind of getting close to?
Well, there's a lot of exciting things that they're looking at these days. And again, you can go to our website and check that out. I would say there's exciting, they're moving forward with precision medicine. I know that Obama has talked a lot about precision medicine. It's applies to a lot of cancers where they can do genetic testing to specifically find out what kind of cancer you have, so they can create a special regimen just for you. They don't really have that for breast cancer right now, but they're working on it, and that's really exciting. Because right now it's kind of like, you know, it's just they give you one medicine and they hope that it works for you, and if it doesn't, then you have to try another one. And so it'll be great that they can identify that you have this exact kind of cancer, and that you can get treatment for that.
Yeah,
but I'm not a complete expert in all the science out there.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot on our website, but that's one of the things that I've been hearing about that's pretty exciting.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any tips for family members or friends of someone going through it? I know my dad first had his first cancer surgery when I was in second grade, and we were all very young, and because it's obviously very hard for the person going through it, but it's an entire family that also suffers through it. Do you have any
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom? And
Well,
also, you went through it as well.
I went through it as well, and I think that each situation is unique. Each family is unique. I think that hopefully, don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. There's a lot of help and support out there. There are a lot of support groups, not only for people who are going through breast cancer, but what we call the co-survivors, people who are caregivers and family members of people who are going through breast cancer. And so that's what, the race is for too, to celebrate those people. And I think that there are resources out there, and you can reach out to us at Komen that we can point you in the right direction, or you can talk to the people at the hospital where you're being treated, and a lot of hospitals can point you in the directions of survivor groups and co-survivor groups.
Yeah, ask questions, I think, is a really big one. If you're a family member, ask the person going through questions. If you're the person going through it, ask questions, because you feel like you're alone and you're the only one doing this, but in fact, there are a zillion people in that same boat as you, and you can all help each other.
Absolutely, and I've talked to survivors, and a lot of them, everybody's different, but I've noticed that once that you're diagnosed, a lot of times it's helpful, to bring a friend with you when you talk to your doctor, because sometimes you can't hear everything. It's so overwhelming, and
It's all a blur.
And that way, there's somebody there with you who it can take notes and remind you of things, and then that's sometimes helpful.
Super. The race for the cure is October 23rd.
Yes.
You can go to KomenMD.com.
KomenMD.org. Actually, our race site is race.KomenMD.org. And sign up, start to fundraise.
And it'll be great.
It'll be great.
It'll be great. There's all kinds of stuff there. Kim, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Hey, it was so much fun. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
Thank you. And we'll see you next October.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.